morning. Welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Friday, October 23rd, 2009. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London, 12:30 in Bermuda, and in Mexico City it's 10:30 in the morning. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. On this day in history, 26 years ago, 241 American military personnel were killed and 58 French paratroopers killed when their respective barracks were blown up by suicide bombers in Beirut, beginning the end of Western activity in that part of the world for at least a little while. Now we have two breaking stories. The European Court of Justice has just ruled that VAT, value-added tax, is now liable on the sale of reinsurance contracts in a case involving Swiss Re. The ruling may have a big negative cash flow impact on those selling reinsurance and insurance contracts. The case was based on the sale of reinsurance between Swiss Re entities in Germany, in which the local tax authorities considered that such a transaction represented a supply of a service and thus was liable to German VAT, which is 19%. This is going to be a hugely important decision. The European Court of Justice is the final court of appeal on European VAT issues, which of course ruled in favor of the German tax authorities. So we'll see how this shakes out. U.S. home sales came out just now. They jumped 9.4% during the month of September. This is the highest in more than 2 years. It's up to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of about 5.5 million. Sales are up 24% now from January's bottom, and they're up about 9+% from a year ago. So that's good economic news. In some reinsurance and insurance news, the Willis Chief Financial Officer and Chief Operating Officer, Patrick Regan, has announced plans. He's leaving the broker. He's going over to the world's fifth largest insurance company, Aviva, as their CFO. He's going to stay at Willis through the end of the year, helping out on the year-end reporting process for 2009. The search is underway to get a replacement in for him in early 2010. Willis is going to use the headhunting firm Spencer Stewart to assist in the process. Regan, of course, has been very involved in the integration of the Hill, Rogel, and Hobbs transaction. He's also helped to oversee the broker's efforts to reduce its debt burden. He expects to be coming on to Aviva in about February of 2010. He's going to replace Philip Scott, who steps down as executive director after 36 years in the role. So our congratulations to Mr. Regan. News from Lloyd's that finally the Russian-backed private equity firm Pamplona Capital has upped its shareholding in Chaucer to 16.27%. Pamplona had been waiting for approval from the UK FSA to increase its stake in Chaucer from 9.99%. After agreeing deals with existing shareholders to buy their shares. FSA approval must be given to any investor that owns more than 10% of a stake in any UK insurer. Of course, the win for Pamplona came after a bitter fight with Brit, which had back in June tried to bid up for its shares in Chaucer as well. Up in Hartford, the Hartford Financial Services Company has agreed to pay a $1.3 million settlement to settle charges by the Attorney General of the state of Connecticut, Richard Blumenthal. Blumenthal had charged that Hartford's former Hart Re reinsurance unit had engaged in anti-competitive business practices in connection with 3 reinsurance facilities in 1990 through 2001. The settlement stems from a 2007 price-fixing suit that Blumenthal brought against Guy Carpenter, alleging that the reinsurance broker had, quote, masterminded and orchestrated a shifty coterie of more than 20 co-conspirator companies. The arrangement, the settlement was done and announced today. Both Carpenter and Hartford said that their business was lawful. In the UK, some bad economic news came out today. The UK economy has extended its recession now. This is the longest recession since records began in 1955. Of course, it's not good news for Gordon Brown. The Prime Minister is counting on an economic revival to boost his Labour Party hopes Some commentators are observing that Brown had been hoping to be able to say that he had delivered a decade of economic growth and that the recession was the fault of greedy bankers, greedy American bankers. The more countries that emerge from recession before the UK, the more embarrassing it becomes for us. GDP in Britain dropped 0.4% in the third quarter. Economists had been predicting a 0.2% increase. The pound fell the most in a month against the euro. So for 6 consecutive quarters now, the UK economy has dipped. It's driven unemployment to a 14-year high. The stock market in the U.S. is down now. It's down about 94 points. We'll go to a word from our sponsors.
Every day, the world wakes up and goes to work, pursuing the unique opportunities that lead the global economy forward. The complexity and close connectivity of today's global marketplace is a true modern miracle that can create unparalleled success. But it takes confidence, passion, innovation, and understanding.
Enabling opportunity.
Protecting capital.
Engineering innovation. Investing in your future.
Ensuring continuity.
Finding the right balance.
It takes Aon.
Have some earthquake news, and where else in the Indonesia area. We'll pull the map up. You can see the blue square a little bit to the left of the island of New Guinea. That's in eastern Indonesia's Papua province this morning. It was a 6.0 earthquake. It was about 22 miles deep, and it was about 1,900 miles east of Jakarta. Local TV is saying that the quake brought down an office building. No word on any damage or injuries yet. The red square is near Bougainville in New Guinea. That's a 5.0. That happened in the last 90 minutes. There's been no reports of anything yet from any news agency. Meanwhile, farther out to the east, Lupit seems to have stalled out. It's continuing to hover over the northern Philippine island of Luzon. Troops and disaster relief officials are on red alert. They had been expecting that Lupit would make landfall yesterday, but it's being delayed now and may not hit until sometime Saturday night. It's still packing winds of about 80 miles per hour and gusts of up to 95 miles per hour. So as a result of its hovering there, thousands of people have now been mandatorily evacuated because they frankly don't know which direction it's going to go. The government has determined that their preparations are in order and that the storm will inflict, quote, 0 casualties. This, of course, is after the high death toll and damage caused by the 2 earlier storms. However, Lupit is more powerful than Tropical Storm Ketsana, which brought days of heavy rains and triggered the worst floods in 40 years in Manila. So that shoe hasn't dropped yet, literally. Meanwhile, this is a chenille robe. We'll get a look at a picture of this. It's a woman's robe. It's manufactured in Pakistan. It's being recalled by a company in Pennsylvania because the robe is apparently highly flammable and linked to 9 deaths. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission and the company in Pennsylvania, Blair Limited, is expanding the recall to include chenille robes and 3 other chenille products, all made by A1 Textile and Towel of Karachi. About 300,000 robes are being recalled. Most of the deaths linked to the full-length chenille robes occurred when victims were cooking. The recalled products were sold in the Blair catalogs and at stores in Pennsylvania and Delaware from July of 2000 through April of 2007. Well, I guess if you follow the news, you knew we were going to end with this one. This is a little bit difficult to believe. We first began to hear about this last night. This is an A321 Airbus aircraft operated by Northwest Airlines. Last night, a plane exactly similar to this, traveling from San Diego to Minneapolis-St. Paul, continued to fly over the Minneapolis metropolitan